Music producers, it's Curtis King at CurtisKingTV.com, here today to explain 5 terrible habits that most music producers share when they're creating beats within the studio. Let's talk about it. Music producers, I want to kind of break down today some habits and some observations that I have made through my private community, CurtisKingTV.com. One of the first assignments that I gave music producers in our FL Studio workshop was I wanted them to spend 10 minutes creating a beat. It's called the 10-Minute Beat Challenge. You can hear about it within my book. I talk about it at length and the benefit that it had for my career, but skip that. In this actual session, what I had them do was spend about 10 minutes creating a beat from scratch. There was no rules in terms of just go in and create. You guys have seen me do it on this channel before. The benefit of doing these 10-minute beat challenges is that it really exposes a lot of your habits that you have when you're not thinking. Because a lot of us, our worst habits are not the ones that we're well aware of. It's the habits that we do without even thinking because we're so involved in the beat making process, we can't see that it's hurting us. So what I want to do is give you 5 observations that I have seen from members of my community doing this 10-minute beat challenge. And I gotta tell you, some of these things are more common than you would think. The first thing that I have noticed that is a terrible habit of music producers in the studio making beats, they're mouth breathers. There is a problem when you're sitting in front of the laptop, you're already sitting here looking at the laptop like this, and I don't know what's going on in your nose, but you're doing this. You're making a beat. How many of you actually sit in front of a keyboard and are the MPC and you're doing it? That's the metronome. How many of y'all do that? Being a mouth breather is terrible in terms of getting oxygen to the brain. And a lot of you are becoming lightheaded and you're actually becoming tired because of how much your body is struggling to get air. So for those out there, I want you to pay attention as you're making beats the next time and see, are you a mouth breather? Are you somebody that inhales to the nose and exhale out the mouth? A lot of you are just, you look like you in the woods and you're running from a bear. That's what you look like. You gotta pay attention to that because ultimately that is going to affect your brain, which you are pulling all of these beautiful ideas from. You wanna make sure that you make that connection as pure and as fluid as possible. The next terrible studio habit that I see music producers sharing in these 10-minute challenges, you are stopping the music as you're starting to build up the momentum. The whole point of making music is to make music. The whole point of adding layers is to understand how they harmoniously play towards each other. And the problem with stopping the music is that you lose that energetic momentum that is created by just pure one-shots and VSTs and plugins. You lose that momentum that you are pulling together when you actually sit there and play the music. Now, some of us got the opposite problem in that we let the music play for too damn long and we end up hating it after an hour, but I think there's a lot of value in continuing the music and really continuing the motion within your body, which is something we're gonna talk about in this list, but continuing the motion with your body, a lot of producers, they don't understand or they don't even observe that they lose their idea simply because their mind has to keep shutting off the music, or maybe not their mind, but it's shutting off the music and their mind has to react to the music being shut off and then jump back on this whole momentum thing, right? And so if you have to constantly stop and start, no wonder your brain just gets to a point where it's like, fam, I don't know what the hell you want to do. Just go ahead and just do something because I've clocked out. So stop stopping the music. Keep the music going. You're gonna add drums. Don't add drums separately from the actual music. Add drums while you are working on the music. Even if it's not something that you want to keep, sometimes I put filler sounds in. I'll put a filler sound in just to keep that, maybe that bounce that came from the kind of keys that I played, really bouncy or whatever, in the pocket, and then I'll keep those in there even if I don't want the instrument, just to put the drums down, just to get the idea out, because these ideas are like a window that just closes and closes and closes, and if you don't capture it in that moment, who knows what it'll be in 24 hours. The third terrible habit that music producers share in a studio is that endless struggle between the scientist and the artist. There is a role called the scientist and the artist when you are making a beat. And a lot of people, they end up putting too many cooks in the kitchen, right? The kitchen being a place where you cook your beats. You put too many cooks in the kitchen who are not supposed to be here quite yet, right? It's like an assembly line, right? When you're putting food together or you're putting, a doll together. I just saw Child's Play recently and, they put the little doll together. Can you imagine the people putting the arm on where the legs go first? Because it's all out of line and the head going where the butt is at. Terrible visual, but I'm saying you are allowing the scientist to make decisions that the artist should be making instead. The artist is like a childlike free bird spirit that just wants to put all these ideas and sounds together. They don't care if it's not perfect. They don't care if it's not mixed. They don't care. They just want it to be loud, banging, and just come together. But the scientists, which most of you out there are self-proclaimed expert scientists on other people's music, because your music sounds like shit, you like to sit there and tell people or tell yourself, no, we can't move on to the next process, young man, until we perfect the parametric equalizing of this snare. And that's all I want to hear about it, young man. That's what y'all do to your beats. No wonder your beats are dry. No wonder your beats got no seasoning. Your beats have no soul. Bring out some seasoned salt and go crazy. I don't care if it's bad for you. Put some on there. Get crazy, right? Stop with these dry ass drums. Oh, nipple head ass drum. Stop all that, fam. So many of you are having a struggle between the scientist and the artist when it really should be. Let them do what they do best. The scientist is really great at mixing and mastering and really getting a more perfected sound in what they are doing. The artist, let them be the artist and let them touch the art in the way that they're supposed to. The fourth terrible habit that music producers have in the studio: slumping posture. Slumping posture, and let's add on to that, they stop moving their bodies when making music. One of the most amazing observations that I made with watching so many producers do this 10-minute challenge within Curtis King TV is that so many of their bodies were moving and kind of giving us an idea of what the next instrument was going to be in the beat. And you probably do the same thing, right? Some people, their natural body energy is a hi-hat, right? Some people are naturally kick and snare, right? They bob their head to the beat like this. And it'll be just nothing but piano keys down. No drums have been put down, but they're doing this to keep the energy going. That's because your body is begging you to put down boom, 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 boom. It is begging you, right? When you got a piano melody, boom, 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 boom. Your body's asking for the hi-hat. So, first of all, if your posture's in a bad place and you're already slumped over, it's causing you to do more mouth breathing, but your posture is already jacked up. And on top of that, you're not even moving. How do you expect your music to move anybody else if it don't move the very person that's creating it? Think about that. If it's not moving you, why in the hell would it move somebody else? It's not moving you spiritually, it's not moving you physically. There's some other alterations you're going to have to make. And part of that is being one with the music. Some of you need to stop sitting down to make beats. Some of you need to stand up. And some of you need to get a setup. Even if it means stacking up books for your laptop or computer so that you're looking straight up ahead, not looking up, not looking down at the laptop, not having your keyboard all the way over in Texas while your piano's over in California and your computer's over there in Maine. That's the problem. Your ideas are all flowing through other energy. You got decision fatigue. When really, if you simplified your workspace, if you use your body and you understood what instruments your body is trying to give you hints of what to go to next, you may be surprised how fluid your process goes. It works for me every time. The fifth terrible mistake that music producers make in the studio is not allowing themselves to make mistakes. I know this sounds like a simplistic way to end this list, but it's probably the most important. You must let these ideas run free. Some of you have to stop live streaming all the beats that you're making because you're making beats for other people instead of for yourself first. A lot of you need to stop making beats around other people. Right? A lot of you need to figure out to get these ideas out and understand yourself. Here's something people don't understand about music producers. When we are making a beat, we are still figuring out every little nuance of what this beat is going to be. We still don't know. Even when we have an idea, we're still like, damn, what we gonna do with this outro? Man, what we gonna do with this little bridge section? We don't know what this is going to be. So we're kind of theorizing and kind of throwing things out there, hoping that something sticks or taking chances creatively. But for the most part, when we're at our best is when we're not afraid of making mistakes. And some of you, you're so afraid of making mistakes that when somebody tells you overproduce, you end up underproducing. And you end up just putting a kick snare in one piano and it's like, yes, that one producer did it, but yours was not executed in the same way. There's a difference between what you did and what they do. So stop trying to literally live your art through somebody else's art. If anything, you need to focus more on let's make mistakes. We're not perfect. Most of us out here are not able to play the piano. Some of you are able to play the piano. Ah, whoopee, here's a cookie for you. But for those out there who are not music theory based, you should be the most fearless about making mistakes, right? Because if it feels good to you, it's going to feel good to somebody else. Who cares if it's not technically sound? sound in the beginning. As you get more knowledge, as you progress, as you grow at your own pace, these things will start to make more sense with time. But please, promise me this. As you start to make your beats, you start to go on your way, don't be afraid of making mistakes. That's the best of you, is when you're making mistakes and taking chances. Thank you for watching today's video. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel. Hit that bell for the notifications. Be part of a notification gang. Hey. I don't even know what this dance is, but I did it. If you want to be a part of my private music community, let me talk about it. I have a private community called CurtisKingTV.com, in which I do videos sort of like this, but even better on the other side. They're longer videos. They're videos that are directly curated from the topics that you give me on the other side. So I address you by name. We do the videos, they're high quality videos on the other side. Not to mention every one of my courses, FL Studio Beginners course, my how to build a music producer website course are all on the other side. Plus BusyWorks even donated a course to our side about sound design. So, and we're continuing to grow this. The more and more that we have the members are in here right now. It's beautiful to see this thing grow and to see so many of you believe in me. Look, you ride with me. I'm telling you, it's gonna get even better. It's only getting better. We're taking back ownership and helping you take back ownership of your independent music career. In this life, you will not be full of life until you decide to live life to its fullest. Once again, it's the leading voice still, boy. Leading voice of the online rapper and music producer community. Don't at me. Peace. Look up, Nazi. Say cheese.